Let me tell you, it is so hard to find topics to make an Iceberg video on because they all already exist. It is painful. But one gap in the Iceberg market, if you will, is Build-A-Bear Workshop. Build-A-Bear is a franchise of stores all over the world that allows you to pick out, stuff, and customize your own plushie. But it has some really fascinating history and there's a surprising amount of controversy under the surface, which is why this video was so fun to research for. As per usual, I've badly thrown together the iceberg myself on Instagram. Graphic design is my passion. And I will post the full image on my community tab. And as always, this video is not intended for younger audiences and will cover some quite dark topics. Go away, shoo. As much as the bear ears are perfect for this video, I forgot they had bells on them and that is going to be so annoying, so I'm taking them off. Oh, and on today's episode of I Have a Weirdly Specific Pair of Earrings to match every single topic I ever cover, it's Build-A-Bear Workshop on the Nintendo DS. But anyway, I think that's all I have to say, so let's start with the tip of the iceberg. Collabs. Whilst Build-A-Bear found its footing selling, unsurprisingly, bears, it's evolved into the majority of its plushies being of licensed characters, most notably Pokemon, Sanrio, Trolls, Animal Crossing, Star Wars, and so many more. If I were to list them all off, this video would be like a year long. They've also collabed with brands like KFC to make outfits. The choice to pivot towards characters as opposed to the classic animal plushies is a bit of a controversial one, but the original designs and character plushies are equally well loved by fans, and well loved by scalpers. Seriously, stop it. Heart Ceremony. Build-A-Bear really puts in the work to make building a bear the most whimsical experience possible. Staff undergo rigorous training for this, which could be its very own iceberg entry, like it is not for the weak. So the process from start to finish is you choose a bear skin, which is an uncomfortable thing to call them, but yeah, they are officially known as skins. Then the employee will stuff the bear. At this point you pick out a heart to go inside your bear and perform a heart ceremony. It varies a bit from store to store, but based off the videos I watched, a heart ceremony consists of warming up the heart in your hands, shaking it, rubbing it on different parts of your body, then making a wish. Then your bear is sewn up, you can give it a pretend bath, pick out an outfit, then name it and get the birth certificate. Last time we went to Build-A-Bear they just skipped this. I guess they just thought I was too old. The employee was cool as hell though. She had Danganronpa badges on her work lanyard. The epitome of family friendliness. Retired Build-A-Bears. With only so much space in the stores and over 500 different bear designs over the years, they had to retire many designs to keep things new and interesting. Occasionally retired bears are brought back, like the Pumpkin Kitty, but the majority never return, making them very sought after by collectors. Original Collection. The original 1997 collection of bears released with Build-A-Bear's launch include Floppy Frog, Floppy Cow, Floppy Dalmatian, Curly Bear, Curly Bunny, and Black Bear. These are all retired now, unfortunately. Story Brand. In 2024...
Okay, I have no idea why it said 2024, it's 2012? Close enough, I guess.
Build-A-Bear underwent a very controversial rebrand, taking a more minimalist approach, which I personally hate. I feel like the whole point of Build-A-Bear is to be whimsical and immersive, so why make it look so soulless? It makes me sad. And they got rid of the bath. Pay Your Age. Build-A-Bear runs a Pay Your Age campaign in which if you bring in a child, you pay the number that their age is for the bear, obviously. So the younger the child, the cheaper the bear. And also the younger the child, the less likely they are to want to queue for 6 hours. This campaign caused complete havoc. Parents queued for hours. In many cases, the stores had to be shut down by police due to safety concerns. The Pay Your Age thing wasn't completely dropped though, it's just a lot more regulated now. You have to join the bonus club and it only applies to a specific birthday bear. Locations. Build-A-Bear has over 500 locations all over the world. I can't find an exact number because they're always opening and closing, but most sources say somewhere between 500 and 600. DS and Wii games. There were 2 Build-A-Bear DS games released and 2 more for the Wii, starting in 2007 with the aptly titled Build-A-Bear Workshop for the DS. I cannot tell you how obsessed I was with this game. I was talking about it with my parents the other day and they said they still have the whole soundtrack memorized, so I must have played it a lot. But this game is sort of a pet sim with different activities that you can do to take care of your bear after going through what is basically a simulation of the real-life Build-A-Bear experience. Like cooking, dressing them up, playing minigames, and getting them ready for bed. And let me tell you, Cooking Mama had nothing on the Build-A-Bear cooking minigame. That was my shit. I've not played the other 3 games, unfortunately, but the next release in 2008 was A Friend for All Seasons for the Wii, which is a very different concept to the DS game. It's an open world with different islands you can travel to, each one themed around one of the 4 seasons. You have to play through different minigames to progress to the next island and eventually reach a party. There's even a multiplayer mode because you definitely have friends that own this game. Next came Welcome to Hugsville for the DS in 2010. It's like Animal Crossing meets carnival games. Your bear moves into a town where you can interact with the villagers, cut down trees, plant flowers, etc. But the primary focus is on quick minigames. And released on the exact same day was Friendship Valley, a Wii game. This one was similar to Welcome to Hugsville, but it prioritised customising your town over minigames. And it was a bit more structured in terms of like the storyline and quests. Overall, a pretty good lineup of games. Maybe giving shovelware a little bit, but we're just gonna ignore that. Build-A-Bearville was an online virtual world where you could register your bears and play with them online a bit like Webkinz. If you keep up with my community tab, you'll know that this was originally meant to be a video just about Bearville, but it turns out that kind of exists already and I like to bring something new to the table, so it's an iceberg now. Bearville ran from 2007 to 2015. When you purchased a Build-A-Bear in person during Bearville's lifetime, it would have a code on the bottom of the birth certificate to add your furry friend to the game. Each new one you added would unlock a new room in your cub condo, aka the obligatory home to decorate in every virtual world. You didn't need a furry friend to play, but it definitely added a lot to the experience. It was your usual virtual world experience with a map to explore, a character to customize, and quests. As with many defunct games, there are people working on a rewritten Bearville, so you can play it again. They have a YouTube channel showcasing their progress and a Discord you can join if you'd like updates. As someone who lived and breathed virtual worlds, I honestly don't have that many memories of this, which is sad. The most memorable thing for me is, you know how most virtual worlds insist that you don't use your real name? Well, on Bearville you literally had to, like they had a drop down list of names, and if yours wasn't on there, tough shit I guess. So yeah, I remember my username was Lila Full Leaf Clover, and I don't know whether I was smart and was just like, oh, I'll change one letter to be safe, or if they just didn't have my incredibly common name on the list. Still got nothing on the Barbie detective name list. Restuffing. You probably know that Build-A-Bear offers stuffing for the skins you pick out in store, but you can actually bring these bears back at any time to get them restuffed or fixed if they have rips, and it's completely free, granted that it's an official Build-A-Bear. Rarest Build-A-Bears. There isn't necessarily a singular rarest Build-A-Bear, but some of the most valuable or hard to find bears include the Hawaiian Hello Kitty, Spotted Brachiosaurus, Vache Noir Black Cow, the Recalled Foundling Bear, the Shiba Inu, Chihuahua, and really any bears exclusive to certain countries or locations. There's an official Swarovski bear with real crystals that sells for £1,750, which is still currently available, but once it's sold out it might shoot up to even higher of a price, as only 250 were made. Also researching that was how I found out that there are Build-A-Bear NFTs. Still odd, I'm sticking that on the end of the iceberg last minute. The Bear Cave. Respectfully, the Bear Cave is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It's an 18+ corner of the Build-A-Bear site selling some relatively tame things like their Pride collection and Valentine's collection, and some awfully cursed shirts including Rizzler, Zaddy, and It's Wine O'Clock Somewhere, as well as a Silver Fox and Cougar plushie and wine wristlets. Let the party be gin. Yeah, I just struggle to work out what the target audience for this is. Nobody under the age of 40 says it's wine o'clock, unironically. And none of these bears have any reviews. The release of the Bear Cave was actually really controversial with parents because they thought their children would be exposed to Gen X puns. Sorry, I mean 18 plus content. But the Bear Cave is online only and has a warning when you enter, so like, it's really not an issue. It's not like you can walk into Build-A-Bear and your 4-year-old can buy a Shadow Daddy t-shirt for their Paw Patrol plushie. Voice recording controversies. At Build-A-Bear, you can record your own voice to put inside the bear, so when you press their arm or chest or whatever, it will play the recording. But Build-A-Bear employees have the right to decline voice recordings if they think they don't align with the brand. Some care more than others, so you can't apologise for cheating on your wife via Build-A-Bear unless you get a really chill employee. What a shame. Promise Pets. Promise Pets are a line of Build-A-Bears that take more of a realistic approach, with the dachshund in a hot dog costume being a fan favourite. Seriously, I need him so bad. You can even get mini puppies and kittens. Other animals include the Oki cat, Bernese mountain dog, golden retriever and French bulldog. And in terms of puppies, you can get black, brown and golden ones, and kittens come in white and grey. Squishmallows lawsuit. In 2024, Build-A-Bear released a line known as Scooshers, most likely to capitalise on the Squishmallows trend as visually they were very similar and had that same sort of super soft texture. Jazzwares, the maker of Squishmallows, did not like this and launched an intellectual property lawsuit. However, they eventually dismissed the case with prejudice, meaning it can't be refiled. And Scooshers are actually still sold to this day. Recalls. Recalls are something I find so fascinating, and Build-A-Bear is no stranger to them. If you don't know, a product recall is when a notice is put out to return or cease use of a product due to it being dangerous. For example, it could be a choking hazard or contain harmful chemicals. The Colourful Hearts teddy was sold between April and December 2011 and had to be recalled as the eyes could pop out. Same goes for the Sully Build-A-Bear sold in 2013. Similarly was the Founding Bear whose nose could fall off. The Starbright's Dragon, sold between April 2015 and August 2015, was recalled as the seams were weak, making the stuffing easily accessible for children to choke on. A few accessories were recalled too, including the pink inner tube which could be pulled over a child's head, and the Love Hugs Peace pin which contained lead. Some roller skates were recalled for having sharp edges on the bottom bolt of the skates. The folding beach chairs could cause injury when folded. Honestly, I could make a whole video out of Build-A-Bear recalls. Baskin-Robbins and Dairy Queen. Build-A-Bear collabed with two ice cream brands, Baskin-Robbins and Dairy Queen, to create bears themed around ice cream flavours, which I love so much. Pumpkin Kitty patterns. Due to the pumpkin print fabric the Pumpkin Kitty is made of, there are different patterns of face markings on the plush, some being more desirable than others by collectors. So if you order online, it's basically a gamble what placement you get. But all pumpkin kitties are beautiful and equally deserving of love. Honey Girls. The Honey Girls are a fictional girl band created by Build-A-Bear, consisting of lead singer Tegan, guitarist Risa, and percussionist Viv. As well as being sold as plushies, they had original songs and even movies. They were released in 2015 and are still sold to this day, albeit redesigned a few times over the years. Berry Fairy Friends. Berry Fairy Friends are a currently available Build-A-Bear line featuring fantasy animals like a dragon, fairy bears, and a fairy cat. The line has this like pastel and iridescent aesthetic going on, and I just love it so much. Stuffing Station. The Build-A-Bear Stuffing Station is a playset that helps emulate the Build-A-Bear experience at home, just with teeny tiny bears, hearts, birth certificates, and accessories. There's even a Berry Fairy Friends edition, hence why I put their entries next to each other. Slogan history. Build-A-Bear's brand slogan has gone through some changes over the years. From 1997 to 2013, the slogan was "Where Best Friends Are Made," and from 2013 to 2024, it was "The Most Fun You'll Ever Make," and currently it's "The Stuff You Love." I might be a bit nostalgia blinded, but I definitely prefer the original, the other two are a bit naff. Copycat brands. There are many brands that copy the Build-A-Bear formula, and I don't necessarily condemn this because Build-A-Bear isn't exactly original either. We'll get onto that. Some of these brands include Teddy Mountain, which is a wholesaler, so it's a slightly different business model, catering mainly to the entertainment sector like holiday resorts, theme parks, and seasonal events. Despite their rep as a Build-A-Bear knockoff, they seem to be doing pretty well for themselves, even collabing with brands like Care Bears. I remember when I did brownies as a kid and we had like a Teddy Mountain day. I got a husky and accidentally named him an ableist slur. Good times. Similarly, there's Be My Bear, where you can buy bears to stuff at home, mostly geared at parties. Some of their product photos are AI generated, and they are definitely giving knockoff a lot more than Teddy Mountain is, as they copy the hearts and colour in bags from Build-A-Bear. I'm sure the bears themselves are fine though, and Build-A-Bear is shitting expensive, so these companies are a really good alternative if Build-A-Bear isn't in your budget. Butlins also has their own version of Build-A-Bear called the Teddy Bear Factory. Big up Butlins, Skeggy. Voice box deterioration. The voice boxes in Build-A-Bears don't work forever, and the voices can start to distort over time. It happened to my friend and it was like genuinely terrifying. So I used to like ration out how many times I'd press mine to make it last as long as possible. Basic Brown Bear. Basic Brown Bear Factory was the blueprint for the Stuff Your Own Bear format. In 1996, Maxine Clark, creator of Build-A-Bear, offered to buy Basic Brown Bear. It fell through, but not before Maxine gained access to confidential information about the business and how it was run. She then very soon after opened Build-A-Bear, presumably using their confidential trade secrets. In 1999, Basic Brown Bear filed a lawsuit, but it was settled out of court. So yeah, Build-A-Bear doesn't exactly have an origin story to be proud of. Hello Kitty Build-A-Bear. In Los Angeles, there is a Build-A-Bear workshop entirely dedicated to Sanrio. It opened in November 2024 and is a permanent location, only selling Sanrio-themed plushies and accessories. Clearly this has been successful, as 2 more locations are set to open, one in the Mall of America and one in American Dream East Rutherford. I just want the regular Sanrio stores back, man, they all disappeared. Build-A-Bear bootlegs. We've talked about stores that are potential knockoffs of Build-A-Bear, but there are also knockoffs of individual plushies. Most notably, a bootleg Build-A-Bear bat can be found on AliExpress, but fakes can also be found of Mothman and the Alien Bear, probably more. Kaboo. Kaboo is a Build-A-Bear spin-off line of animated shorts launched in 2025. It also has its own line of plushies. The show is still being made and new episodes are being uploaded on YouTube regularly. Build-A-Bear Foundation. Build-A-Bear Foundation is a charity focused on helping kids in need, including donating teddy bears and books. They've currently donated over $2 million, and this money is raised from their Gifts That Give Back collection, which includes 3 bears and 5 shirts. RuPaul Bear. A slightly cursed RuPaul Build-A-Bear exists. This is no longer available and can sell for quite a lot of money secondhand. Happy Meal boxes. Build-A-Bear's famous colour-in boxes were actually inspired by McDonald's Happy Meals. Weaponry. Build-A-Bear did a line of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle plushies, which came with weapons as accessories, so there are officially licensed Build-A-Bear nunchucks and swords. Figures. Build-A-Bear has a fairly unknown line of collectible figures known as Fabulous Fashion Friends. They were released around 2012 and feature mix and match clothes and accessories. There's barely any information about these, they seem completely forgotten. Flash games. There used to be a plethora of Build-A-Bear flash games on the website buildabear.com before it turned boring. And it's actually really fascinating because a lot of them are like focused on misrepresenting the colonization of America. Lee Speaks has a very in-depth video about these games, so I definitely recommend giving that a watch. Some flash games include holiday-themed matching games, baseball, Very Fast Bears, a racing game, Virtual Pets, Simon Says, Bengal Dangle, where if you get the questions wrong the tiger falls into the river, no pressure, digital books, and flashcards. Some games are also lost media. Prototypes. Before a Build-A-Bear is released, prototype plushies are made, and these can sometimes find their way out into the wild, for example in thrift stores. You can tell a Build-A-Bear is a prototype if its label says sample. It also has some slight differences to the official release. For example, Victor Arc 9 on Reddit found this Eevee plush prototype that is in a sitting position, whilst the official release is standing. 2008 financial struggle. Like pretty much every business, let's be real, Build-A-Bear faced significant financial downturn in 2008, stalling their growth plans and forcing them to lay off a ton of employees. Charlie Kirk. Okay, so you're probably confused right now, but if you don't know, Charlie Kirk was a conservative speaker who was assassinated in 2025. And after his death, it became a trend to go to Build-A-Bear and name your bear Charlie Kirk. So the minimum wage employees would have to shout his name out when you collect the birth certificate. It's what he would have wanted, I guess. An employee in Seattle refused to let someone name their bear Charlie Kirk, and this Fox News article I found about it acts like it was the most horrific act of oppression in the world. I'm sorry, I giggled. But yeah, this whole situation was very controversial on both sides. Autism Speaks Bear. Build-A-Bear partnered with Autism Speaks to release 2 bears. The Autism Speaks Bear and the Autism Awareness Bear, one for the US and one for other countries respectively, and $1 from each sale went to Autism Speaks. The Autism Speaks bear is blue with puzzle piece motifs. If you're not aware, both Autism Speaks themselves and puzzle pieces to represent autism are very controversial within the community. Autism Speaks is controversial for centering parents of autistic children in their charity work as opposed to autistic people themselves, painting us as like burdens that destroy families and need a cure. And the puzzle piece symbol is widely disliked for a similar reason. It's more of a sort of thing autism mums get tattooed because they're such warriors for putting up with us. Obviously at the time there was significantly less education about autism, and I don't think Build-A-Bear had any ill intent with this collab. Monkey surrogate. In 2009, a monkey in a zoo in Kent wasn't able to look after her child due to recovering from a C-section. Therefore, a Build-A-Bear monkey was brought in as essentially a surrogate mother. Global warming PSA. Build-A-Bear released a PSA about global warming via a series of animated webisodes, in which the characters fear there will not be a Christmas because the North Pole is melting. This was highly controversial, with some parents claiming that it was scaring their children and/or pushing a political agenda, and some even called for a boycott. NFTs. For Build-A-Bear's 25th anniversary, alongside the Crystal Bears, a collection of NFTs were released. If you don't know, NFTs are basically images or animations you pay an exorbitant amount of money to own. They can be traded a bit like crypto, but the value of most of them has crashed now because it was a very short-lived trend. NFTs are quite controversial as they are often very lazily put together as some sort of get-rich-quick scheme, as well as having a negative impact on the environment. Build-A-Bear donated 10% of their NFT sales to the Build-A-Bear Foundation, and some of them came with physical merchandise and experiences, so it could be worse, I guess. But I feel like a lot of companies did some real mental gymnastics to rationalize participating in something harmful, so it kind of feels a bit like they only donated to charity to deflect any controversy. Build-A-Bear Craft Shop. And for our very last entry we have Build-A-Bear Craft Shop, another last minute addition. I need to stop making the iceberg before I write the script because I always find new things to add whilst I'm researching. I never learn. Anyway, Build-A-Bear Craft Shop is a line of Build-A-Bear themed craft kits including paint your own plaster animals, sewing kits, a fashion decorating kit with sew-on patches, and possibly more things that have been lost to time. I could find little to no information about these. But that is it for this iceberg. I hope you enjoyed getting political over teddy bears with me. But yeah, let me know if there are any other icebergs you'd like me to do because I had a lot of fun with this one. If you enjoyed, feel free to like and subscribe. I made a whole last video for this channel and then decided I didn't like it, so that's up on Patreon if you want to watch it. I don't think I have anything else to say. Drink water. I love you. Goodbye.